So it's just not gonna be quite as nice as. But thank you, Lauren. Thank you everybody for coming today. It's rare that we get everybody here in the same room together, and for this joyous of an occasion. So I have all the family, friends, and potential real estate clients that we have. Yeah. She's actually one of my clients. These two are my clients. Just you get referrals from them. But I am. If anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Melissa's realtor. And I'm also, in addition to that, I'm Walt's younger brother. So we're gonna start. We're gonna go back. I know the food's still getting cooked, so I'm gonna take my time. So we're gonna start with my parents. My parents met in Manasquan, 231 2nd Avenue. My dad was a young, he had a mustache and a sports car and an afro, and my mom was just, exactly probably the way she is today. And so she would, while she wasn't annoying my dad and like calling the cops and like complaining about stuff, she would, they eventually started dating, and then, that was 40 years ago, actually, last month. So. They found their love and they kindled their love, and that happened in Manasquan. We'll get back. Yeah, let's give a round of applause. I know I'm sure there's other people here that got, met Manasquan. I know probably named like 6 or 7. So that, fast forward a little bit, Walt's born in 1983, a couple years later. And so that's where we're going to pick up the story. So 1986 probably was a really good year for Walt. He had a brother. Like the Mets won their first of, I'm sure many World Series. But the Giants won the Super Bowl. Mike Tyson he became world champion, and just a lot of good stuff. You got a little baby brother. Everything seemed to be great. But then, so like the first few years of our life, everything seemed to be pretty good. We go on vacations, we take trips in the RV, hanging out at Matt's house, and everything was cool. Everything was fine. and then like, you get a little older, you get into the 90s, like the like early to mid 90s, and then my brother became, how do I put this? He became sort of just like a villain. Like he was my arch nemesis throughout the entire decade of the 90s. Like, so him, and like, I couldn't be prouder of my brother. He's the principal of like a top 10 high school in the country. Like we could not be prouder of him. But if you told the teachers that he had in 7th grade that my brother was going to be a principal of a high school, they would have called you, like God knows what they would say. I mean, it's unbelievable. But, so, I got moving my plate. So yeah, sometime around the mid-90s, he just turned heel. Like he was just like an absolute terror. With my parent, my dad threatened to leave him on the side of the parkway a few times. We just got in a fight. Like, as I'm sure anybody who has brothers, you just get into it a little bit, like we would fight, and by fight, it was more of like he would like pin me to the ground and like grab my arms and make me hit myself with my own arms and say like, "Thank you, sir, may I have another?" I don't know if you remember that, but I do. I remember. And then so it wasn't much of a fight necessarily. It was just him just dominating. We're going through that, and then in school. So at St. Helena's. We went to St. Helena's together. yeah, he knows what's coming. And so we had this one long hallway that we had, all the classes were in, and I couldn't tell you I'd be in 4th grade, he was in 7th grade or whatever. So I'd walk out and we would line up to go to the bathroom for some reason, and then so he would be. And then down at the end of the hallway in 7th and 8th grade, there's Walt getting ejected from his 7th grade class because he was mouthing off to Miss Pascal or something. But the principal, Mr. Smolenski, getting ejected from his classroom. But believe me, that was probably a weekly occurrence that happened. But we get a little older, and he gets matures a little bit. It's still like through high school and everything was, he was still kind of a delinquent and everything. He's a little mature, but like he used to just hang out behind like the local like bodega or something. Like, his friends had like a fight club or something for a while. I don't know. Yeah, they did. Yeah, Elliot knows. Yeah, like so they were still just kind of maturing. But and he's not completely to blame for that because I was just such a little geek when I was a kid, like weird glasses, like weird hair, and he was toughening me up. Though. I appreciate everything he did. But let's see, where are we? I don't want to miss anything here. So he would have his friends and everything. I do remember there was one time where our relationship sort of like the turning point of the relationship. And I'm sure you remember this, but so I played high school soccer, and there was a kid that was a couple years older than us. That was he was sort of like bullying me a little bit, but like the normal your kid he's a couple years older, he's just kind of getting in your face a little bit. And I remember one time I go in there and he was sheepish that day. He was just just not as sort of he wasn't getting on my case as much. And then eventually I come to find out that my brother, the day before, I must have mentioned it to him and he heard me, or he mentioned my mom. And he went up to him and grabbed him by the shirt and threw him up against the locker and said, "If you bleep with my brother anymore, I'll bleep, whatever." Whatever he said, I'll let it. But that was like the moment where I was like, well, maybe having a brother isn't like, the worst thing in the world. Like, maybe this could work out a little bit. Maybe there's some benefit here. But no, that was great. And then we get older, our interests sort of align a little better, and we're sort of we start hanging out together. He's living in we live together. Watch a lot of terrible Knicks games. We watch the Giants win the Super Bowl. And we're just starting to hang out, become friends. Everything seemed to be going well. And then eventually he starts hanging out with my friends, which could take some getting used to. And then so he's everything's fine, and we would rent a house in Manasquan. And one year, the second year, we're getting everything organized, and one of the new people was Jimmy Stokel's sister. That nobody, we knew Jimmy, people would wrestle with Jimmy, but then Melissa was here, and we got to know and love her and everything like that. And she's all right, yeah, she's fine. Jimmy, yeah, we know Jimmy, she's fine. But then the irony of the whole thing, and as fate would have it, as everything would have it, they actually met. And some of you may not know the story, but they actually met and started hanging out and everything at the same exact house that my parents met 35 years prior. My mom rented the house behind, my dad met her and everything. They actually met at the same exact house. So, Greg rented the house for us, so Greg has a little part of this also. But everything went fun, and then that's what brought us here to to this day. I can't imagine my brother being with anybody more perfect than Melissa. He's the yin to the yang. Everything. It's. I actually remember the one moment. I remember the exact moment where Melissa. I knew Melissa was the right one for my brother. She sat me down. It was like she sat me down at Walt's house one day, and she said, I know, we've been dating your brother for a while, and everything seems good. And we sat down and everything. She sat down and looked me in the eye and said, "I want you to list my condo for me." and I gave my brother your number, and he's gonna call you also. No, but for real, Melissa, I can't imagine a more gracious, caring, kind, respectful, perfect person for my brother, and you are the sister that I desperately needed 20 years ago. And Walt, I am the person I am today because of you. I speak for my parents and for probably everybody here when we say we couldn't be more proud of the man you become. And because God knows that could have went a whole different direction. but everything worked out. I mean, I'm thrilled to see you two so happy, and thank you for the honor of being your best man.